Yo, how's it going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Now, obviously, if you guys read the title of the video, we're going to be ranking each and every single fight that we know currently for UFC 300, starting with Deiveson Figueiredo and Cody Garbrandt. I think that this is a pretty good fight. These two guys are former champions. Deiveson Figueiredo, obviously, in my opinion, is the favorite in this fight. But Cody Garbrandt, he is slowly making his way up the ladder yet again. If I had to rate this fight from a scale of 1 to 10, I would rate it like a 7.9. It's a pretty good fight. And yeah, I can't wait to see it. Next up, we have Cody Brundage versus Bo Nickel. Okay, look, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think this is a good fight. If Bo Nickel wins this fight in spectacular fashion, which I think he probably does, because Cody Brundage is someone that he's supposed to beat, right? Bo Nickel definitely needs a step up in competition. He needs it after this fight. I feel like the UFC, they're trying to do their thing, pushing him and whatnot. But if Bo Nickel gets through Cody Brundage the way that I think he will, he definitely 100% needs he needs an up in competition, no doubt about it. But I give this fight a 7 out of 10. Now, Bobby Green versus Jim Miller. Obviously, Jim Miller's been in all the UFC, big eventful freaking fights like UFC 100, 200, and now obviously he's in 300. He's facing Bobby Green, right? And I think that this is a good matchup for him. I think it's a good matchup for Bobby Green as well. Bobby Green, of course, got absolutely demolished by Turner in his last fight. So we need a good performance from both fighters, and I honestly do believe this is a good fight. I give it a 7.65, 42 out of 10. Now, I think the next fight that we're going to talk about is going to be obviously the snack grabber or the beer run is going to be the smoke break, is going to be the somebody order the pizza break type, and that's Jessica Andrade versus Marina Rodriguez. No offense to you guys, but it is UFC 300, and this is definitely not a fight that anybody is really excited for him. If I'm being completely honest, I feel like they could have just added this fight in any other UFC card and it would have been the same exact reaction. I give this one like a 5 out of 10. Anyways, let's keep going. Diego Lopez versus Youssef. I think this is a pretty good freaking fight, man. Diego Lopez just came out of freaking nowhere last year whenever he fought Evloev, and he had a pretty damn good performance, and ever since then he's just been like a fan favorite. Of course, he has crazy good marketable aspects about himself, and mainly has to do with his haircut. But I think that, facing someone like Youssef is definitely a step up in competition compared to the fighters that he fought, especially in this last fight. So I do expect, Diego Lopez to have a pretty good performance. I give this fight an 8 out of 10. Now we have Jiri Prochazka versus Alexander Rakic. Jiri Prochazka's last fight against Alex Pereira, and he got unfortunately knocked out. And then Alexander Rakic hasn't fought in like 2 years, I think. So this is a pretty interesting fight, especially since we know that Alexander Rakic hasn't had a fight in a while. I'm very curious to see how, he approaches this fight, especially against the former champion that is Jiri Prochazka, who is he is great with just putting chaos out there. If I had to rate this fight from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving this one an 8.2. Reef certified badass fight, no doubt about it. Now, of course, we're going to move on to Calvin Kattar versus Aljamain Sterling. Aljamain Sterling is going to make his debut at 145, and I think he's going to have a really, really good showing. If I'm being completely honest, Calvin Kattar is a bigger featherweight, and he can stand and bang, man. Calvin Kattar is he is game 100%, but I do expect Aljamain Sterling to have a successful fight against Calvin Kattar. If I had to rate this from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it an 8.2. And again, another beer run, right? Another snack run fight that nobody really was asking for, and that's Kayla Harrison versus Holm. No offense to you guys. No offense to y'all at all. I just feel like this is a fight they could have just added to whatever card, and it would have had the same reaction for me. If I'm being completely freaking honest, and being honest is something that I'm gonna try to work on from this point forward. But if I'm being honest, this is a fight that not really too excited for. But you know, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. If I had to rate it from 1 to 10, I'm gonna give it like a 4.7, right? Out of me wanting to see it. And of course, we start getting into some bangers here, right? We got Charles Oliveira versus Arman Sarukian. This is a very freaking interesting fight, man. I think that this might be the fan favorite. This might be the people's main event besides the Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway fight, but we'll get into that later. Charles Oliveira, of course, he missed his last fight because he got a gash under his eye. And Arman Sarukian unfortunately sealed the deal on he sealed the deal on his last fight, knocking out Benny, but of course, sad to see. But anyways, Arman Sarukian is he's a younger fighter. He's hungry. He wants to get that lightweight belt. Charles Oliveira, of course, he already held gold once. So if Arman Sarukian if he has a good performance against Charles Oliveira, pretty sure he's gonna be next to face Islam Makhachev. Of course, if Charles Oliveira beats someone like Arman Sarukian, well, he's back, right? He's still in the picture to be champion, maybe again, and challenge Islam Makhachev for gold. If I had to rate this from 1 to 10, I'm giving this one a 9.1. Zhang Weili versus Yan. Obviously for the strawweight title, if I'm being completely honest, I think Weili's gonna just mop the floor with Yan, right? I think the Yan is pretty good, but Weili, from what we've seen from her, man, I think that she's gonna put on a masterclass. If I'm just being completely honest, if I had to rate this fight from 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7.7. And now we get to the maybe co-main event: Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway for the BMF title. And the reason I say co-main event is because, you know, Dana White said a couple days ago that there was supposed to be 2 fights that they were announcing, right? They only announced the Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill fight, so maybe there's another fight that he announces soon. But we'll get into that later whenever the time comes. But Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway is probably the other fan favorite, the other people's main event, right? The people's main event. Wow, this is gonna be a banger of a fight. On paper, it looks absolutely amazing. Justin Gaethje versus Max Holloway. I think they're fighting for pay-per-view points on this fight as well. If I had to rate this fight from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it a 9.6. I'm giving it a 9.6, and that's that's a big scale. That's a big freaking rating on my scale, if I'm being completely honest. And now for the fight that has been very controversial within the MMA community: Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill. For the light heavyweight title, I mean, guys, Alex Pereira, he is so freaking confident in this fight. He wants to fight at UFC 301 a couple weeks after this fight, which is amazing. It's crazy that Alex Pereira has that much confidence in himself. But is he overlooking Jamal Hill? Maybe just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Jamal Hill, in my opinion, he's a pretty damn good fighter. There is a lot of people out there that are overlooking Jamal Hill's abilities. This guy, he could scrap. He's a very smart fighter. He's a very smart dude. If you guys go listen to Jamal Hill's YouTube channel and the way he breaks down fights, he's not talking out of his ass, man. This guy, he could put 2 and 2 together. So I think that Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira, it's a sleeper fight that a lot of people are deeming not UFC 300 worthy, but in my opinion, it very well might be a classic. We will have to wait and see, definitely. But if I had to rate this fight from a scale of 1 to 10, I'm gonna give this fight an 8.6. And those are all my rankings for UFC 300. If you guys agree or disagree, make sure to let me know down in the comment section below. As always, it's a pleasure talking to each and every single one of you guys. Peace out and have a good one.